Well, welcome everyone to the NIAMRRE February Member Spotlight. Today we're going to feature us here at the NIAMRRE Operations Center. But before we get started on that, we'll go through a few housekeeping items. So just a reminder that we're using Zoom webinar format, and so your audio line is muted. We'll take questions at the end of the presentation, so get those ready. You're welcome to type them into the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen. And then we will take those at the end of the discussion, as I just said. We're recording this webinar and we'll get it posted on NIAMRRE Exchange later this week, and slides won't be available. So it's my pleasure to introduce the folks here in the NIAMRRE Operations Center. We're missing our fearless leader, Paul Plummer, who's the Executive Director of NIAMRRE. He's not able to be with us today, but I'm Chris Johansson, Associate Director of External Relations. With me is Dr. Sarah Alrazro-Smith, who's our NIAMRRE Extension and Training Coordinator. We have Allie Fabian, who's our NIAMRRE Research and Operations Administrator, and a couple new faces for people. Niki Reynolds, who's our NIAMRRE Member Development Specialist, and Matthew Hadley, who's our Communications Specialist. And so without further ado, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and turn it over to Hadley to go ahead and introduce himself and tell us a little bit about his background. And then we'll have Niki introduce herself. So Hadley?
Hi there. My name is Matthew Hadley, and I go by Hadley. I have a graphic design and marketing background. Since graduating with a Bachelor of Arts degree in 2014, I've worked the last 10 years for several large companies and organizations, alongside doing a lot of freelance work for clients around Central Iowa and beyond. I joined the NIAMRRE team last September, and I've been their communications specialist since then. In this position, I'm using my graphic design and marketing skills to update social media and our exchange site. On the print end of things, I maintain our brand image with collateral materials such as flyers, agendas, and forms, and graphics for events. I also help write press releases, newsletters, and blogs. Something that I'm proud of taking on since joining NIAMRRE is the daily hashtag series for LinkedIn. The daily hashtags builds on the idea that each day presents a new opportunity to share a different facet of what we're doing here at NIAMRRE. So I can take you through the different days. Member Monday is a day we had previously. It's one we use to highlight one of our members each week. Talk to Us Tuesdays is where we're answering questions from our LinkedIn followers or email, however you want to ask it. What's Going On Wednesdays is a consolidation of our news and events that's currently going on. Thank a Researcher Thursday is where we're showcasing a researcher and their work. And Fast Fact Friday is where we tell you something that you may not know about NIAMRRE or AMR. So since the introduction of daily hashtags, trackable metrics has shown that there's been an increased community engagement for the page. So I can't wait to see where it's going next. So thank you for letting me introduce myself. I can answer any questions that you might have after a bit at the end of today's spotlight.
Well, great. Thanks a lot, Hadley. It's great to have you on your team, our team, and your graphic design skills and the social media that has really made an impact there. So it's great to have you on board. And now our other new Operations Center member here is Niki Reynolds. So Niki, why don't you take a few minutes to introduce yourself to our audience? Niki, you're muted.
See, now you would think I hadn't been on Zoom calls or hosted webinars for most of my career, but you know, it happens to the best of us. So now that you all can hear me, happy to be here with NIAMRRE. I have over 15 years of experience in marketing strategy and organizational leadership and development. I've been mostly in the tech industry, but have worked for organizations both new and mature. I mentor a lot of startup businesses, and then I also am a collegiate mentor for the Iowa State Collegiate Women in Business program, which is a lot of fun. Before getting into marketing and business, I actually went to Iowa State University to be a genetics major. So I have a deep respect for all you amazing scientists and researchers out there. And I'm always really intrigued to see what's happening. So a little bit about me personally. My husband and I, we live near Des Moines. We have 2 dogs, a horse, and a mini donkey. We also farm soybeans and corn. He likes to collect tractors, antique tractors. Personally, I prefer to collect vintage cars. And when you aren't finding me at work, you'll finding me planning fun international trips, hiking or kayaking or hanging out with our animals. So really happy to be here as the NIAMRRE Member Development Specialist. One of the things I'm looking forward to the most is getting to know you all. So I'll be reaching out and scheduling meetings to chat with you and get to know how you like to engage with NIAMRRE and get your feedback. And, if I don't get to reaching out to you as soon as you'd like, feel free to email me and we can set something up. And then since I've been here, I've really been working with the team, helping to create the conference, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, and work on some other items for you all. So excited to be here and thank you for the opportunity to say hello.
Great, Niki. Great to have you on board. Great background for engaging with our members. And so it's really appreciate your help on working with the conference and some of our other programming. So now for the next few minutes of today's webinar, we're going to do a round robin where each of us talk a little bit about what we enjoyed, our highlights from last year at NIAMRRE 2023 and what we're looking forward to for this year. So Allie, we're going to start with you and then we'll go to Sarah.
Hello, everybody. So last year was quite a whirlwind for me. I actually had a child, so I was out on maternity leave for a good part of the year. But we were able to get a bunch of submissions or grants submitted. And in the middle of that, we also started using a new submission system. So that was a fun learning curve. But we were good at achieving that funding on several of those grants. And collaborating with several members. And that was awesome to be able to get the funding and get that for our members, with our members. And now we get to full steam ahead and work on those projects. So working on that this year, another plus for this year. A huge thing that we did that doesn't affect everyone yet, but will, is we now have a fee-for-service account. So moving for next year or this coming year, I keep thinking it's 2023 still. There will be a lot of things coming out from NIAMRRE that will benefit with that account. So I'm excited about that and just new collaborations and working on grants with everyone.
Great, thanks, Allie. Sarah?
Yeah, well, good afternoon, everyone. If you're not in Pacific time yet, good morning if you're over there. I'm excited. Last year was very busy for the education group here at NIAMRRE. We had a great education breakout session at our conference, which ended up with a publication co-authored by myself and Dr. Daniel Chish. About what new collaboration and new tools are needed in AMR education. And we're continuing to work on that and looking forward to building on that this May at our conference and our education breakout session. In addition, we have a lot of other projects going on. We're able to do a 4-H youth curriculum with Dr. Amy Powell here at Iowa State. Talking about the basics of AMR, new regulations when it comes to livestock, with antibiotic use and et cetera. It is here at Iowa State, but we're excited to work in getting that published at National 4-H. So that's available curriculum-wise across the country. And of course, continued efforts to improve educational resources through our research projects and collaborations, such as our science communication project, working with different members focusing on veterinary medicine, improving their science communication skills, and focusing on other collaborations with 4-H and improving food safety skills for our 4-H youth. Looking forward to this upcoming year with continuous collaboration across all institutions to provide educational opportunities across all audiences and One Health sector. So excited to see what's to come.
All right, thanks, Sarah. So Hadley, you were here for just a little bit of last year, but was there an event or an activity we did that was a highlight for you?
Yeah, I was gonna say, just meeting everybody on the team and getting, my bearings was a highlight from last year. But also I would say the bioinformatics workshop, I feel like that was a really nice introduction to, what NIAMRRE is doing and, what some of our members have to teach everyone. And I really enjoyed just kind of going around, getting information and taking lots of photos. I really like doing that. So,
Right.
yeah, and looking forward to next year, or this year, for the annual conference. I think I'm going to be doing more of the same. I've heard a lot of names and I'm excited to match some faces to some names, meet some of our members, meet, a lot of people, honestly. And I'll be doing the same thing there, taking photos. So if you wanted a photo taken, let me know, but I'll just be in the background otherwise and collecting information for blogs. I'm excited for that. I'm also excited for what this year has in store for social media. We've already grown it quite a bit since I started in September. So, with more community feedback and more brainstorming sessions, I know that we're going to come up with some really exciting things in this coming year. And then just collaborating with everybody on the NIAMRRE team for what everybody's working on. There's some really exciting projects in the works. So I'm excited to be, doing some of the graphic design work on that. So that's what I'm excited for.
Great, thank you, Hadley. So Niki, you came in right before the end of the year. You joined us in November. So was there anything out of these first couple of months that were a highlight for you, and what are you looking forward to as we start seriously into 2024? And you're muted again.
I'm getting really good at talking when I'm muted. So, yeah. So, what did I enjoy? I mean, again, I started really at the end of the year. So my favorite part has been, just, setting up some of these member meetings, getting in with the advisory council and hearing what you all have to say there. Unfortunately, I wasn't around for the bioinformatics, workshop, but it sounded like a great event. And, what I'm looking forward to the most coming up is, again, we've got this great conference coming up in May that I think you're all going to really enjoy. And I can't wait to tell you more about. But yeah, those are the things that I've enjoyed and I'm looking forward to.
Great. Well, so now it's my turn, and I'll echo what others in the Operations Center have said. It's really gratifying to get to know what our different members and the research that they're doing and the impact they're having on the global challenge of AMR. So that, and especially at our annual conference, when we get an opportunity to meet folks in person and really network and engage with them. But beyond that, there's some other highlights that I'd like to focus on here. So one of the first ones is seeing AMR dashboard funding realized. So this dashboard funding was a result of, in part, of NIAMRRE advocacy efforts. And this was something that was really years in the making, but through advocacy efforts, we were able to get a plus up in USDA appropriations, I think back in fiscal year 21, and then again in fiscal year 22, to support a public-private partnership to develop an antimicrobial resistance dashboard. And it took years, but finally a call for proposals came out, and it was really exciting here in the NIAMRRE Operations Center. Maybe a little bit stressful, but we helped coordinate a series of allied proposals where I think we had 9 submissions go in under this call, and ultimately 6 of those were funded. And so it's fabulous to see, number one, a very important tool like an AMR dashboard get funded and start to be fully developed, but also get to be able to engage with our members and see them be successful in getting funding as a result of some of these advocacy efforts. So some other highlights for me, I've been fortunate to be part of the group that's working on the cooperative agreement that we have with the FDA. So others have talked about some of the projects we have going on. For this cooperative agreement, the goal is to, for each of the 4 main livestock commodities, identify a prioritized list of diseases for which, if there were alternatives to antimicrobial agents that would be uptaken, there could be an impact on antimicrobial stewardship. So we hopefully be able to identify some strategies through this work to move the needle in a positive direction and optimize antimicrobial use across these 4 livestock species. And one of the funnest things about this is, number one, I've learned an awful lot about production of these different commodities and being able to engage with the members that are collaborators on this project. It's really been a pleasure to work with the different teams, get to know different folks, and really, you know, I really have a deep appreciation for their expertise and what they bring to this project. Some other advocacy efforts that we've done, and those of you that are maybe on our advisory council know that at the end of 2023, there was a flurry of public comment opportunities. They kind of came flying out of the woodwork. But this is something that's rewarding to do, because what we hear from agencies that put out these public comments is they do use that feedback to help inform their strategy or maybe help inform guidance. And so it's really nice and it's rewarding to be able to put together public comments, again, that may be influencing policy down the road. So some of the public comments that opportunities that we responded to included the Reagan-Udall Foundation for the FDA's framework on establishing a public-private partnership to support tracking of antimicrobial use in food-producing animals. We also submitted one around a Centers for Disease Control, Department of Interior and USDA framework for drafting a One Health national framework to address zoonotic diseases and advance public health preparedness. We submitted another public comment around the EPA concept note that is one of the first steps they're going to be taking in creating a framework that would address how EPA assesses the potential risks to human and animal health from pesticide uses that could result in antimicrobial resistance that might compromise the effectiveness of medically important antibacterial and antifungal drugs. So that's kind of a stay tuned sort of opportunity. I know the EPA will probably come out again with this framework, and maybe we might have more opportunities to comment publicly on what they've developed. And then one of the last ones we did was at the end of 2023. CDC had a call for public comments on guidelines for the use of doxycycline post-exposure prophylaxis for bacterial sexually transmitted infections. And that was one where we really used our advisory council as a sounding board. This is kind of in the human health arena, and a lot of our public comments have tended to be more in the ag or animal health arena. And based on the feedback from our advisory council, we drafted this public comment and submitted it there. Some other highlights for me, NIAMRRE continues to grow. So I think when I joined in August of 2020, we had 11 members, and we're now well over 40 members. And so we've welcomed new academic institutions to the NIAMRRE membership, new industry members, and new affiliates. And so again, it's looking forward to the rest of 2024. The conference is one of the things I'm looking forward to, but also continuing to grow our memberships and getting to know them, working towards our advocacy goals. So the Farm Bill has kind of been delayed. We were talking about a 2023 Farm Bill, but that's still on tap for 2024. Some of our priorities include data security and privacy protections for livestock producers. That's a critical tool, we feel, in getting them to share important antimicrobial resistance information. We have this concept of the CARB 4A, so trying to secure funding and advancing alternatives to antimicrobial agents in the agriculture space. And then we're hoping there'll be another call for AMR dashboard funding that comes out here pretty soon. And so I think we all here really value the collaborations that we have, and are excited about teeing up new projects and continuing to work on some of the existing projects that we have going. Coming up a little bit later this spring, we'll get to elect a new vice chair of the NIAMRRE Advisory Council. So that'll be exciting to see who that next person is. And then we'll also be having elections for our leadership council. So that'll be coming up later in the spring. So those are just some of the highlights from me. Niki, do you want to spend a little time now and kind of do a conference preview? Everybody here is talking a lot about the conference, so maybe I'll turn it over to you if you want to kind of tell us a little bit more about what's in store in Columbus.
Yeah, and third time's the charm. I'm not muted, so we'll go ahead and chat about this. And anybody who was in the conference last year, feel free to jump in if you have anything to add. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and take you guys to the conference website so you can get a peek at that if you haven't been already. So let's see. All right, are you guys able to see that? All right. So this year, the theme of our conference is Bridging Gaps in AMR. And I believe last year, you guys talked about addressing the gaps in AMR. So last year, you identified them and talked about them. And this time, we're going to go ahead and bridge that and build collaboration. So some important things to know is we're going to be in Columbus, Ohio. So our partners, Ohio State University, are helping to put on the conference this year, and we really appreciate their involvement. The conference dates are May 14th through 16th, and so that's a Tuesday through Thursday as you're planning your travel. And we'll be at the beautiful Blackwell Inn and Fall Conference Center. So we really encourage you to stay at the official conference venue. It'll help, keep you engaged with other members as you're walking through the hotel, an easy way to get to conference sessions, etc., or sneak out for a quick call if you have something you need to take care of, versus being, further away. We do have a discount code that you can use to register to get a preferred rate for our conference. But be sure to book early because there are a limited number of hotel rooms and that discount doesn't last forever. Speaking of discounts, we are currently running a early bird special. So until April 15th, you will get a discount on your conference registration. We do have rates for members, non-members, government, and student rates as well, so that we can ensure everybody's able to access the wonderful content that we're going to have for you all. We have a great agenda planned for you all. So on Tuesday, day one, we're going to have a welcoming keynote. Our keynote speaker is Scott Weiss, and he's going to be talking about some, global efforts to address AMR. We're really excited to have him, and I am going to absolutely butcher the name of his university. I feel like it's Guelph or golf?
Guelph.
Definitely. Thank you. Yeah. The way that Chris pronounced it, that's where he's from. And so we're excited to have him on board. And we've got a mixture of panel discussions and interactive sessions as well. So you'll see on day one, we're going to be bridging gaps across international efforts. We have some VIP comments. We also have lightning talks and poster sessions, which we'll get to in a minute. And then that evening, we invite you all to a welcome reception. More details to come on that, but I'm sure you'll all enjoy it. And then again on day two, we are continuing this theme of bridging gaps. So we're going to bridge gaps through antimicrobial stewardships across One Health, interprofessional practice and behavior change, breakthrough discoveries. That's going to be a really exciting one as well. And then also we'll have some breakout sessions where we'll talk through in smaller groups, research and education. And then we will report on those sessions. So if you weren't in research, you'll get to know what happened in education and vice versa. So really looking forward to all your insights and thoughts during that particular session. And then on the last day, we'll have another keynote kind of reflecting on over-the-counter to prescription opportunities. We'll have more lightning talks and a panel discussion on regulatory changes for the future and challenges. And then we're also going to go through our student awards, which again, that'll go in the lightning talks and poster sessions that we'll talk about in a second. But anybody on the NIAMRRE team want to expand on any of these sessions at all, or any comments you have?
Thanks, Niki. We appreciate the conference planning committee's efforts in helping us identify and secure some really great speakers. So we've started to confirm speakers for all of these different sessions. I know you're going to talk about posters and abstracts, but we're seeing abstract submissions start to come in. So if people are interested, they should get theirs in soon. But we think we have a really excellent lineup of speakers, and we're looking forward to the same type of engagement and interaction that we had last year.
Yeah, just to name a few of the speakers that we have confirmed, we've got Jenny Philby from Resilient Biotics. We have Elizabeth Ranson from Penn State, Caitlin Braggs from Dairy Management, Inc., Armando Howitt from Ohio State University, and that's just to name a few. And so we'll be announcing more of those speakers on our social media. So be sure to like us and connect with us on LinkedIn to get more of that information. But as we said, yeah, call for abstracts are now open for our posters and our lightning talks. We're really looking for presentations and posters that span the One Health spectrum. And so if you're looking for a lightning talk, they're 3 to 5 minute presentations that are high level overview over your research, technology, or program that you're working on. And we're excited to have that. We'll be doing lightning talks 2 days of the conference. We have the poster session, which poster max size is 3 to 4 feet in diameter on either side. And we do ask if you're going to do a poster that you are near your poster during the poster session, which is on Tuesday. And like Chris said, our call for abstracts opened on February 1st. So we really encourage you to go ahead and send those through. If you've been a poster or lightning talk person at a previous conference, go ahead and submit again and see if we have room for your topic. Maybe it's an update on something you've done, or maybe you're working on something completely different and new and you want to share it with us, and that'd be wonderful. So we're looking for those and excited to see what we get across the spectrum of One Health. If you're a graduate student, we're having a poster competition, and the top 3 will have prizes awarded to them. And then we'll do that again on day 3. We'll announce who those winners are. So excited to see how that competition flushes out. In addition to call for abstracts, we still have room for sponsors as well. So we have a number of sponsorships available in terms of level. One thing you might consider is if you're sending more than one person to the conference, take a look at our sponsorship guide. It might be a great opportunity for you to grab a sponsorship, because you do in some of these levels get complimentary conference passes. So you can elevate your brand at the conference and engagement with the members, as well as get those conference passes thrown in. So more bang for your buck. But we have a lot of ways to highlight our sponsors at the conference. We'll put your logo on the website. Our program, which is going to be digital this year. We have a sponsor booth exhibit area, so you can talk and engage with everyone. As a platinum sponsor, we've got a luncheon opportunity, which is really exciting. And if you're looking for something a little more ad hoc, you want to create your own menu, we do have other opportunities such as break-in for beverages and food sponsors. We have a cocktail reception, which would be really that high-level opportunity to really get your name out there. But also as a member, each of your organizations are entitled to a free ad on our agenda and program on the website. So if you're interested in any of these opportunities, you want to take advantage of the free member ad, you want to upgrade to a higher level sponsor opportunity, let me know. I'd be happy to chat with you and go through and see what is the best opportunity for your particular organization. So overall, we're really excited about the conference, and Hadley, thank you for creating this wonderful conference site. You did a great job. And again, to all of our conference committee planning members who've put a lot of time and effort into making this a success. And, this is just a small sneak peek of the conference. We have many more things that we're working on and are excited to announce via social media or email as we go through. So please keep tuned to your inbox and to our social media to learn more. Chris, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think you've covered it really well, Nikki. Just echo my excitement and it's fun to watch the registrations come in, those abstract submissions come in, and again, really excited to see who some of our speakers are going to be.
Yeah, we're really excited, and don't wait till the last minute to register. Again, that hotel block is going to fill up pretty quickly, as well as you don't want to miss the early bird deadline for discounted pricing. So we look forward to seeing you at the conference.
All right, so Nikki, I'll share my screen here again and kind of do some wrap up before we open up. Well, actually, why don't we take some questions now? We've had several questions come in through the Q&A function. So folks that are out there in the audience, you're welcome to enter your questions. We've got several really good ones here. So the first question is, what is the most surprising or interesting thing you have learned about AMR? And I'm going to go around the horn, and Hadley, I'm going to start with you because you're on the top of my screen.
Sure. One of the most surprising things that I've learned is, I guess, just how many people around me don't know a lot about AMR. And, there's a lot of concern with hand washing that I've had to correct some friends on since starting here. And I'm happy to be, a non-scientific advocate still for AMR research. So that was surprising to me.
Great. And then Allie, you're on the top of my screen as well.
Yeah, coming from, oh, that was weird. I disappeared and came back. Coming from a veterinary field background, I had a pretty good knowledge of AMR, but it's interesting to me how being out in the public, it just pops up randomly in conversations. And like Hadley said, how many people truly don't understand or grasp the concept. And then when you talk about it, they're like, oh, well, that makes sense, but I never thought about that. So just the lack of knowledge out there really, truly was surprising to me.
How about you, Sarah?
Yeah, as the social scientist on the team, it's really exciting when I first joined how concerned people were about social science issues, behavior change, bringing social scientists on the team. So that's one thing that kind of shocked me, that a bunch of veterinarians or doctors, and they actually cared about social science. So looking forward to continuing that work in collaboration throughout various projects, but also the conference.
And Nikki, anything really surprising or interesting that you've learned since you joined?
Yeah, I think the thing that stands out to me is just this concerted effort to build a One Health collaboration, and those effects between human and health and or human health, animal health, plant health, and environment, and how they all tie together. And some of those misconceptions that people have touched on, but again, just the ecosystem of bringing it all together and balancing activities and health between all of those different sectors has been really interesting.
And for me, I guess I knew antimicrobial resistance was complex. I'm a microbiologist by training, but I don't think I appreciated how complex a problem it is. And so there's always layers of complexity as well. And so it's a fascinating problem. It's been called a wicked problem because it's so difficult to tackle. And so I would just say, yeah, the complexity is what's really surprising to me, but it's also very gratifying to be working on an important global problem. All right, so we have a couple other questions we can go to. So the next question is, how does NIAMRRE communicate research opportunities to its members? And so there's a couple ways we can do that. Number one, we have NIAMRRE Exchange, which is our communications platform, and we have a funding opportunities community within that platform. So if you're not on NIAMRRE Exchange, and maybe somebody can type this into the chat, go ahead, if you're a member, create an account, and then you would have access to that community there. And we post announcements about funding opportunities as they come to us and as we become aware of them. We'll also reach out to individuals and let them know, hey, this opportunity came in. Looks like maybe it has your name on it, your area of research or your area of work. And Sarah has touched on this, Allie, all of us a little, we really do value collaboration. And so if folks are planning to pursue research funding, and Niki has put the exchange site in the chat, please feel free to reach out to us if we can help you identify collaborators. It might be possible for us to generate a letter of support for your application. We sometimes collaborate not as the lead on proposals, but oftentimes people come to us and say, hey, you've got this education expert there in your team, or you have a NIAMRRE Exchange platform and a way to disseminate research results. So we can play a role a lot in those ways as well on collaborative proposals. Let's see. We've got a third question that came in. So I had a great time at the conference last year and made a lot of new connections. Will there be stuffed microbes at the NIAMRRE conference again this year too? So for those who may not know, we have a tradition at the NIAMRRE annual conference of giving out giant stuffed microorganisms. And last year, someone became famous for posting on social media with their giant stuffed microbe that they got gonorrhea at the NIAMRRE annual conference, and then decided to exchange gonorrhea for chlamydia. So I do think we plan to have giant microbes again this year. They're kind of a reward for our audience members who are brave enough to maybe ask the first question in a big open session or make other kinds of remarks. So they've been a very popular item at the conference, and I think a tradition we'll plan to continue. So I don't see any more questions coming into the chat. I don't know if anybody here in the Operations Center has any closing remarks or comments before we end things for today. I'll go ahead and share my screen again because we've got that conference link for registration available on one of these slides. So again, as Niki said, we have a lot of great speakers lined up, a lot of great sponsorship opportunities. Looking forward to those lightning talks and poster sessions. Early bird registration ends on April 15th. We'll accept abstracts through March 15th. And so really encourage you to get those in as soon as you can. And looking forward to a really good graduate poster competition as well. And then coming up in March, our next member spotlight will feature Penn State, who joined NIAMRRE last year. So we're really looking forward to hearing from the Penn State Lions about all the AMR work that they do there. And with that, we'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. Look forward to seeing you on another member spotlight or another NIAMRRE event, and hopefully see you in Columbus in May. Thanks, everybody.